Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Patricia Beitler, founder and CEO of Velocitas, as my guest. We're going to be learning about her business, her journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that she's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Patricia. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, before we get into all things business, I would love to share with the audience a little bit about you. So take me back as far as you'd like, share a bit about yourself.
I've always been a connector. I've always enjoyed like either connecting things and connecting people with other. And I really always loved technology as well. So I started my career in technology and studied MIS. And then I started the agency in 2002. And when we started, we were doing branding and web. And then it evolved into a full service marketing and PR agency. And now we've been doing completely, integrated marketing campaigns that include, social, solidifying the digital presence of the company, and then taking it to growth in with public relations and also digital campaigns.
Incredible. Well, I'm so excited to dive in. That sounds like a really fun career. So now, how did you get into it? What was like the spark to start the company?
I actually always loved helping and the idea of helping growing companies. And it was something that just would get me really excited. I would meet business owners and I would try to, create strategies and ideas that would make a difference for their business, starting from the branding and, solidifying their brand and then thinking about, what they need to do to take it to the next level, and then executing that. So I know a lot of different consultants will provide some ideas, but they don't execute upon them. So that's something that we've been able to do and significantly grow the companies that we've worked with over the years.
Oh, that's incredible. So now before we dive into business deeper, I would love to hear about the role you play, as the CEO, as the person leading this company. What does your day-to-day look like currently?
My day to day, it's fun because there's always something different. You never know what you're gonna get. So it's either, sometimes we'll have like meetings with, the leadership team where we go into their office and we have strategy meetings. Another day could be where our whole team is doing like a video and photo shoot for PR, and I actually like to be on site and connect with the leadership team while we're doing that. So it's always changing. Another day, we have all hands on deck with our team working on a campaign. And I like to get idea, give ideas to the team, things like that, or or traveling to meet clients.
Awesome. And when you think about your business, how much of your week is like focused working on the business versus in the business?
I think that's always a challenge for a lot of CEOs. And, over the years, I've gotten better at really, saying how can we work on it and continue to grow in different ways as opposed to being in it. So it's like an 80-20. I think it evolves, where but I think that a lot of the times I enjoy being in it, to some degree because there are all these different ways. I've been reading, traction and other, the EOS system and different ways to disconnect and not be involved. But I do think that as a business owner, you do always have to be involved in some way.
Definitely. And is there any parts of the business you wish you could like offload that hat to somebody else?
I think sometimes maybe like looking at the details of certain things that I like to review that I think are important because in our business, it's all about those details. And that's
Mhm.
something that I've learned over the years. So I think that piece of it, which we are hiring someone for that role, that's going to be, overseeing that. Because I think that's something that it's not, I really enjoy more of the strategy and growth side of it, as opposed to the minutia.
Definitely understandable. Now, when you think about you and your team, because you're the sole owner, correct? Are there any other partners involved at all or leadership board
No,
or
just strategic partners, but no, there's no other owners.
Awesome, awesome. So, what's the dynamic in your company look like when you want to move forward on something, whether it be a project, a new client? What does that look like?
It's really evaluating if they're a good fit for us and our culture and long-term partnership, because that's really how I like to see it, where it's usually being able to know that we're going to be able to flow and grow together, and then making that decision that that is gonna work, if that makes sense.
100%. So when I think about owners, and I've talked to so many owners and CEOs, there one thing that's always common is everybody grows through something. There's seasons of business, and we're always growing. So it could be a challenge, a new season, maybe it's a new hire. So what is something you're currently growing through that's taking most of your time?
We're trying to hire, and I think finding the right fit and that culture, it does take time. And right now we're in that mode where, there's so many different attributes that are important, besides being able to do the work. And because culture is so important to us, I'd like to have somebody on site in Miami, where we're headquartered. So it's important that, even though we do have teams that are all over, we're looking for someone right now in the South Florida area.
Okay, now how long have you been looking for? Like how long has that been on your radar?
For a good over 6 months now. It's been a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you feel, what's keeping it from being fully solved? Is it like recruiting, or is there certain things that you're like looking for?
Yeah, it's the expertise, and it's really important. We don't really want somebody who doesn't have that expertise, who has more than like 3 to 5 years experience. So that's, I think, probably the biggest challenge, and that they understand public relations and have agency experience. So there's very specific criteria, and I think that's really our biggest challenge.
Yeah,
And a lot of
definitely.
people are having this right now. A lot of our clients have been. This is a recurring theme in this time right now, from what I've heard.
100%. It is, I see it across, this question comes up a lot with hiring, and so it's very, very ongoing. So let's look at the future of your company. Where do you see your business going in the next 3 to 5 years?
I see it continuing to grow, both in legal, tech. That's something that has been a main part. We've worked with many different industries over the years,
Mhm.
but also finance is another one that we've been working closely with, and franchises. Also, interestingly enough, we've been working with a lot of franchises in different spaces, insurance, healthcare, and we've been able to grow them and create awareness for them. One of the franchises we work with, within the 3 year time span that we worked together, we increased them for over 30 new franchises. So we've had continuous growth from the accounts that we've worked with in all different industries.
That's incredible. Now, do you mostly have like repeat clients, ongoing clients, or are you focused on like new clients?
Ongoing, we have a lot of ongoing, and I do like to bring in new business when it's the right fit. That's how I like to make it, because it is a long-term partnership. I've learned over the years that marketing is not a one-off, and some people want like a quick miracle, and that's not realistic. So yeah, you could see the results of the work we've done over time. So it's definitely a long game.
Oh, that's awesome. That leads perfectly into this question. This is kind of a painting a picture kind of question. So, if you and I had a conversation 5 years from now and you were grinning ear to ear, you're very excited, what would you be telling me about your business?
I would tell you that we are continuing to flourish and grow with the businesses that we've been working with. And as they've continued to succeed, so have we. And it's been incredible. We've been helping companies from all over the world, and it's just an exciting time.
Ah, I love that. Now, for you personally, thinking like putting the business aside, what does getting there mean to you?
Getting there is exciting because I've already been able to see over the last almost 25 years all of what it's taken to get to where I am now, and then being able to see where we're going and that our team is growing, both in their careers and growing with the agency. And also that, everything is evolving, utilizing technology, seeing how, we can get better as a team and also as an agency as we're, supporting others.
Definitely. Now, when you look at the gap between where you are today and the 5-year goal, what's the biggest obstacle in your way?
Probably, I mean, as of right now, it's the team. I'd like to be able to have the right team because to me, it's all about the team. It's always been. And when I've had a really great team, it just, it only gets better.
Mm.
So that's something that's always been, important to me. And that culture, as I was mentioning, is really important because I want everybody to be excited about the work that they're doing, and also that they're growing. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge that, and again, as a lot of our partners are having as well.
Definitely. Now, when you imagine the version of the business that is finally like that's running the way you want it to, what does life for you look like outside of the business?
Traveling, I love traveling, so that's always important. So having maybe a little more travel, and then also just like that, the balance, the thing that everybody wants, the work-life balance.
I'm still trying to figure out that thing too.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
I don't know if it really exists. Okay, so now I want to kind of dive into a little bit about you as like you as the founder. Why did you choose to go into business for yourself instead of working for somebody else?
It was always exciting to me. I had a government contract for many years, and I remember thinking about like the excitement that I would have when I would go into meetings, or I was initially seeing what the projection would be, and I knew that that was going to be the right path moving forward. And I
Mhm.
also wanted to be able to be, a mother and help others and things like that. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that right, if I was working somewhere else. Or that's
Yeah.
how I felt at that time. I wanted to be able to have that.
Yeah. And as you look back at your career in as the founder, as a CEO, what is a memorable roadblock that you overcame?
Hmm. I think there's been many. I think as a woman, it's interesting because I was always the only woman in the room in the boardrooms, when I was at the Fortune 500 companies and when I was also in the tech space, with a government contract at Lockheed. I was always like that where I knew that, I think that was one of the pieces, not that it was a block, but I think that it would be great if there was more, I think, be great to have more women in the space.
Hmm.
And I think that's why I created what I want. I wanted to create it where I could, support women, and I do a lot of that now, and I continue to want to build upon that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally does. And how do you manage the hard days?
Yoga.
That's a good one, actually.
Yes, yoga, meditation. I just think it's important to exercise and, do whatever you need to do to center yourself and and be the best version of you that you can be.
Yes, 100%. Now looking at your business, you mentioned a couple of industries earlier, but I'd love to dive into who does your business serve best? Like, how would someone know if they're a good fit for you?
Do you mean specifically to industry?
Yeah, like industry folks. Hmm.
Yeah. So our verticals are legal, healthcare, tech, real estate, finance. So although we have an extensive portfolio on each of those, but in addition to that, we also have worked with other different types of businesses over the years, like interior designers, But really, it's and the franchises. I think that's been a great piece because every franchisee also needs to build and grow within their area. So
Hmm.
we've been supporting those as well and looking at how we can create awareness because some of them are national franchises, but they do not have awareness and their brand recognition in the area.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Now, what makes you different from competitors?
So one of our differentiators is that we're able to do everything. I think a lot of companies that have heard of over the years too, some are specifically doing PR or social media or just those things. I think the expertise that I have from the tech background and being able to look at your digital presence a little bit deeper, see how, the website can be optimized with SEO, GEO, like all of that tech background that I have actually really differentiates, me and my business. And also, all the experience that we have. Some agencies are in different places, maybe 5, 10 years. I think all of the experience that we have in all of those different industries give us an edge because we're able to look at it from the outside and say, how can we make it better and support your growth?
Definitely. Now that brings me perfectly into the questions about team because I'd love to learn around about your team. So currently, how many team members do you have?
So I have five that are in the US and then I have other members around the world. But I like to have different, age variations. And I like to have like a smaller team that has been here in Miami, for example, or so that is like our base. And then we have other team members that are in actually by you. I have in Dallas, Connecticut, New York, just a little bit of everything. So it's nice to have like a base of our team here, and then the rest of our team, we have our developers and designers and things like that.
Oh, incredible. Now, how would you describe your leadership style and has it evolved over time?
Yeah, I think that I've always been a mentor, so I've liked mentoring and supporting. I think that I've been able to see with the different generations, how different things can be perceived differently. So I've actually gotten a lot better at communicating and my style of communication or continuing to try to support them in different ways. But I've also been always the same. I'm very transparent and I'm very direct and honest. And I think communication is very important as a leader. Those are things that have always been important to me, and also that my team also has autonomy. I like to give them, so that they can give us ideas and just feel comfortable to be able to, provide their own perspective.
I love that. Now I want to get into some kind of a fun part of the Q&A, our rapid fire. So these are some of those wind down questions or they're fun. Just answer very top of mind. So I've got four of them for you. Question number one is what is the key to success for you?
Peace.
Yoga. Very true. And what is one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
It doesn't happen overnight. And that you need to have perseverance and resilience.
Those are very powerful. And now, what is a book or a podcast that you're into right now?
Oh, so many. I have a long list, to be honest with you. There's a marketing one. There's a B2B marketing one that I really love. I'd have to confirm the name, but there's a few. There's so many. I like Mel Robbins. I like a lot of different podcasts. So for me, it's the Gerhardt show is really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's, talks about AI and content creation that's not slop. There's the marketing school. There's a lot of different. I have a lot of diversity in things that I read. The New York Times has one. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
That's cool. I'm a huge Mel Robbins fan. I saw her live once. It was incredible.
Yeah, she's great.
She's a great one. And then the last one. Okay, so if I gave you a little bit of magic dust, boost and you could sprinkle this on one aspect of your business for rapid improvement, what would it be?
Hmm. Rapid improvement. Oh, there's just so many little things. I guess I'll go back to the team. I just want my team to grow and evolve. And also, I always feel a lot of companies make the mistake and they think that it's the clients. But in my experience, it's always been the better the team, the greater everything flows.
Oh, that's words of wisdom right there. That's like the golden nugget of this conversation. That's so true. Oh, Patricia, this has been such a great conversation. Before we get to our final question of the day, how can people connect with you and your company online?
They can go to velocitas.com.
All right, wonderful. Well, our final question of the day is, what is most inspiring to you today?
Today. Hmm. I guess all the growth that's happening in the tech space is really inspiring and exciting. There's a lot going on there, and it always makes me feel like full circle about my life because of what I studied, and that my father would always make me take computer classes, and so I think that's really exciting right now, like how the tech space is continuing to evolve, and how we have to be on the same page, or we're not going to succeed.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. This has been a great conversation. I loved getting to know you and your business. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.